shukuru babu ma karanye tom zantaba
asana la balŋo nyɛla lahaba shɛli bipuɣimbihi pam ban gba bɛni ka bɛ biɛhigu ni bɛ shukuru chandi chaŋ ti ŋmahindi ka bɛ be tiŋ shɛŋa lɛbigimsim ni diina bɛ galisi pam Ghana puuni bipuɣimbihi shɛba ban biɛhigu mini bɛ shukuru chandi chaŋ ti ŋmahindi asana lahabali ŋɔ nyɛla din na dee bɛ nya gbaali ka ŋɔ maa nyɛla din tuuni fukumsinim yina n-ti niŋdi yɛnche ka bipuɣimbihi ŋɔ tooi chaŋ shikuru hali ti karim naai.
Bozo ka bipuɣinsi bɛ tooi chani shikuru ti turi ŋɔ polo. Ndam tin tooi yɛli ni ti biɛhigu puuni yɛli shɛŋa nyɛla din chɛ ka bɛ tooi chana n-yɛrim zaŋ jɛndi ti kaya ni taada polo. Dama bipuɣinsi ŋɔ pam bɛni ka bɛ saɣi shikuru chandi ka bɛ mala kpɛhiri shikuru ka yɛn ni bipuɣin ŋɔ shikuru ŋɔ na di pala din muɣisi. O yi ku n-bi paɣa biɛlim na ŋɔ o pun gbaagi o zaŋ n-ti doo. Din maa pahi fakari zuɣu bihi maa nyɛla ban bi chani shikuru n-yɛrila bipuɣinsi ŋɔ. A nya ka bɛ pun guugi n-kpa saafa polo o ku saɣi n-bi paɣa no yɛn bola lɔɣiri n-kuna yiŋa. Baa yihi dina ti lahi mali ban kuli saɣi shikuru chandi ka di nyɛla bɛ ni tooi tɔhiba shikuru amaa shikuru ka yɔŋa. O ku yɛn chaŋli din tooi niŋ ka shikuru shɛli din be yɔŋa maali dibaayobu maali dibaanu bee maali pia o tooi chaŋli ka di chɛ ka bihi ŋɔ bi chani shikuru. To tin tooi la bɔhi ti maŋa viigu wuhiya ni bihi maa bipuɣinsi ŋɔ maa ni pumpɔŋɔ bin kuli mooni ni bipuɣingu shikuru chandi viɛli maa viigu wuhiya ni niriba yi pa mali bɛ bihi bipuɣinsi tɔhiri shikuru amaa di lee bi yaɣila lala. Ban biɛni ŋɔ maa ti bɔhi ti maŋa bin chani shikuru maa bɛ palindi shikuru bii bɛ palindi shikuru ko n-lee tahili. Tin tooi yɛli ni yɛli shɛŋa bɛni n-nyɛ din chɛ ka bɛ piini shikuru ŋɔ chandi ka yira bii ka bɛ palindi shikuru. Bɛ yɛli bɔra nyɛla din nyɛ zaɣ' yini ti ni tooi yɛli shɛli m-bala. O be shikuru maa ni o daliya o liiganima o bukunima o pɛn din ni tooi chɛ ka o karim viɛnyɛlinga bii kani di gbarigirila o shikuru chandi a nyɛ ka o zani tariga. Din maa pahi nyɛla ti bihi laambu ŋɔ maa o ku wali bi paɣa ka o bihi sansaya bin pun yɛli ni di o saɣi doo kundi ka gbaagi o ti doo ka o na be shikuru di saha maa yihi o la shikuru maa ka o kpalim shikuru ka che ti lahi mali gambo zaŋ kpa bipuɣinsi shikuru chɛndi ni bipuɣin ŋɔ ku n chaŋ shikuru di ti kuli miina bɛ yɛli ni ai ni bipuɣimbila n-nyɛ o ni paɣa n-nyɛ o ni paɣa shikuru chɛlila ya ashee ka lala m-bala maa ti yɛla ni baŋdiba yina ti wuhi ni a yi tooi ti bipuɣingi baŋsim ni tim mun ka a ti baŋsim maa a yi ti bidibbil baŋsim ni ninvuɣu yino ka a ti baŋsim maa to a shiri nyɛ lala vihigu ŋɔ a bɛ bɔri na a zaŋ a bia bipuɣimbila tɔhi shikuru n-ti a lala yɛli ŋɔ ni tooi chɛ ka a zaŋ a bia tɔhi shikuru ka chɛ ka o kpalim shikuru maa.
Good. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And the video brilliantly captures everything we're going to be discussing today. The case of Astana, as you saw in the video, is not unique to just her. This is the flight of countless number of girls and boys in deprived communities across the continent. And this is going to be the focus of our discussion today. A special thank you to School of Life for this video And we will also hear from one of the people later on as a panelist for today's learning series. So I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us. My name is Mona Idrisu. I'm the head for Youth Employment and Skills here at the Africa Center for Economic Transformation. If this is your first time joining us on our learning series, let me tell you a bit about the YES-PACT. So the Youth Employment and Skills Pan-African Coalition for Transformation is a community of both practitioners and policymakers that are working to tackle the issues surrounding access to high-quality education, relevant, inclusive education, and also how we're helping young people to transition to the world of work and to be employed in dignified work. The initiative is supported by the MasterCard Foundation, who we're hoping is in the room with us today, but we're working also with a network of partner think tanks across. Currently, the YES-PACT is operational in 6 countries, and we have partner think tanks in all 6 countries. So a special thank you to them for the brilliant work that they do in helping us to convene this gathering. Today's YES-PACT learning series will be talking about marginalized groups, opportunities, and jobs, but particularly spotlighting Ghana in there. However, the issue, as I mentioned earlier, cuts across all African countries, particularly even more deprived communities like refugees. We have, for data from the UNHCR, shows about 18 million out of school young people who should be in school who are not because they have been displaced by conflict. We also have young people with special needs, learning disabilities, both physical and learning, who are unfortunately being marginalized and do not have access to education. We are still confronted by some of the social cultural issues, as we saw in the video in SNS case, including early marriage, including sometimes poverty, making it hard for parents to make the decisions to put their young people into schools. We also have, unfortunately, the high unemployment we're facing in many African countries is making it difficult to make the argument for taking or to keep children in school, because a lot of young people themselves and parents are getting increasingly frustrated by funding young people to go to school who then come out of education and cannot find decent and dignified employment. So there's a lot of factors that contribute to this. And today, hopefully, we'll be hearing from Mrs. Gifty from the Ghana TVET service, who will take us through some of the initiatives that are being rolled out in Ghana by the Ghana TVET service to tackle some of these issues that we're talking about. We will also be hearing from some of our panelists. We're fortunate to have panelists from Zimbabwe, from Sierra Leone, who will also be sharing their experience when it comes to the issue of inclusivity, opportunities, and jobs. Apologies for the late start today. We've had some technical hitches with Zoom, by the way, but hopefully
so you can send me the presentation now.
Sorted for our panelists to be able to join us. Sorry, so I'll go through some quick house rules. We will have our mics muted unless it's your turn to speak. So if the admin could please ensure that all mics are muted so that we keep the feed clear. We also have interpretation available. So if you look down, it should be an icon that says interpretation. And if you're joining us from Francophone Africa, you have the option of selecting French, which will then, you'll be able to join the conversation or follow the conversation in French. We also want to keep the conversation going, so we do have the chat option. I would encourage all of us to keep inputting our thoughts as the program proceeds. Please let us hear your thoughts. There's also a Q&A option where you can pop in questions for our panelists or for our main speaker today, so that we're keeping it going. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as well. Part of our initiative, part of PACT, at the heart of it is also networking and connecting development practitioners who are working on similar things across to share knowledge across board. So I see that we have Gifty here. Hi, Gifty. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yes,
So Gifty is our main speaker for today, and Gifty is joining us from the Ghana TVET service, as I earlier mentioned. Let me just check that you're good to go, and then I'll do a formal introduction. So Gifty is the Deputy Director and Head of Guidance and Counseling, Guidance, Career and Counseling Unit at the Ghana TVET service. She also serves as a Career Services Advisor for the World University Service of Canada. She holds an MPhil in Guidance and Counseling from the University of Education and has held various leadership positions, including the head of the Guidance and Counseling Unit in the Gomwa Central District of Ghana. She's also been a head teacher of Zion B Basic School Education. So as you can see, Ms. Gifty has experienced the spectrum of going from being enrolled as a student to being a teacher, and also now working issues to do with policy to confront some of these issues, particularly around career guidance and counseling, which plays a critical role in ensuring that both parents and teachers have the correct guidance that they need in determining their career path. She has a Bachelor's of Education and Social Science from the University of Education and is an alumna of Infancy-Man Girls High School. Mrs. Gifty, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And once again, we're on standby to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona, for having me. And so, good morning to all panel members. Please, can I go ahead?
Yes.
All right. So our topic for today is on youth employment and skills. Redefining opportunity and addressing career needs of marginalized groups. So I'm going to share the insights into ongoing government efforts to make TVET more inclusive. And so I will say a little about Ghana TVET service. Formerly, we had a number of training schools in Ghana that were training students in technical and vocational skills. But later on, the government saw the need of bringing all the training institutions together under Ghana and the Ministry of Education. So Ghana TVET service was established by the Pre-Tertiary Act 2020, that is Act 1049, to provide learners with relevant, employable, and entrepreneurial skills for the labor market. Our objective of the service is to manage, oversee, implement approved technical and vocational education and training programs, both in the formal and informal sector. The Ghana TVET service recognizes the critical role of career, that is career guidance and counseling, and then gender and inclusive support in ensuring positive outcomes of technical vocational education and training programs delivery for all learners, that is learners in the formal and the informal space. Therefore, we have created units purposely for addressing career guidance in our TVET schools, both private and then public, and also with the informal sector. And we also have the gender and inclusion unit that sees to the improvement in learning for all our learners in Ghana. And so we have all these units at the regional offices, that's 16 regional offices, and then all TVET institutions across Ghana. Going forward, we've seen that Ghana has implemented several initiatives to promote gender and inclusive guidance and counseling within its educational system. So recently, that is 2024, the Ministry of Education developed an inclusive guidance and counseling framework to be implemented in all educational levels, that is from the basic through to the secondary and then the tertiary level, with minimal attention on career development. The inclusive education policy was also established in 2015, which outlines the government's commitment to protect quality education for all Ghanaians, including those with special needs. A well-structured and inclusive national career services delivery framework is essential for driving our economy and then reducing unemployment and ensuring that the workforce is well prepared for emerging market trends. If you could see all across Ghana, probably I have to say Ghanaian experience, we can see that we have a lot of graduates who complete school and they don't have any idea of what they want to do in future. But if you have a national policy that is focused on career services delivery, it's going to help a lot for our youth to know, to plan their career goals, build their action plans, and then concentrate on whatever they are learning to be fit for purpose. A well-structured and inclusive national career services delivery framework is essential for driving the economic growth, reducing unemployment, and ensuring that the workforce is well prepared for emerging market trends. Currently, career services in Ghana are fragmented. It is not actually well defined, and it is embedded in the guidance and counseling framework. There are no trained career counselors within our schools, though we have guidance and counseling coordinators, but they don't have much training in the career fields. If you look at the career fields, we have about 12 competencies, helping the student to set the career goals, helping the student to develop his or her action plan on the career he wants to perceive, where he wants to see himself in the next 2 or 3 years. And what we normally say about this is that a student should know where he is, where he wants to go, and how to get there. And the career services provider support the student in all these areas so that they will land at exactly where they want to be, to prevent unemployment rates and skills mismatch. The career initiative will align with education and with labor market needs to support economic transformation and ensure equal access to career development and opportunities for all citizens. Now we have some key components when we talk about career services delivery. That is inclusive counseling centers and training in all our TVET schools and across the districts, inclusive and employment and entrepreneurial support, policy and government support. I mean, government should have a government policy and we should have a support for all our schools. If the government supports the delivery of career guidance and counseling, it means the work is going to go on well and will be able to touch every student irrespective of your social status and your capabilities. Then capacity building and creating awareness in the whole country to know that now we have a new policy that is focused on career. Technology and accessibility measures.
What of our fees? She's joining now. What of our fees?
Unemployment tracking and labor market research. So as a council, when the students complete school, we should be able to track the student to know whether he got a job or not. Then if it should come with curriculum, new curriculum developments, you go ahead and do that so that it will link with the industrial, it will link with the industries we have so that whatever you learn will be demand driven. And so we have the key components here. And then we have our call for action. So for our call for action, we are saying that We are advocating for a policy change that will promote inclusivity in whatever we do, especially in our youth policy. We also want to partner with business and NGOs to expand career development opportunities to all marginalized groups in Ghana, and also commit to continue learning and awareness in inclusive career services. Now we have some few recommendations, that is linking TVET institutions to trades and then district industries. We have a lot of TVET institutions in our district, but we are asking whether their programs and curriculum is linked with the industries we see in our districts. Then organization of empowerment expo for marginalized groups. They can also come and pitch their ideas when we train them through the TV, so that we have a major support for them to be fit and do decent work, and they will be independent. Then all marginalized community career summit. So we have a career summit for marginalized communities, those who are in areas where they experience disaster. We have to also go near them and support them with their career prospects. Then values learning community programs in all our communities to learn the values, our Ghanaian values, linking it with the careers we find among ourselves, so that it will help all of us to get employment and independent youth. So I would like to pause here and then see if we can get any questions from my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Hello.
much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Gifty. Thank you so much. And I like the call to action, which cuts across different actors. So at the policy level, we're asking for increased inclusivity, but also there's a role to play for private sector in ensuring that we are increasing access to marginalized groups, and also implementing agencies which you're calling upon, or we're calling upon, to ensure that there's increasing awareness and investment in inclusive career services. So we all do have a role to play in ensuring that we're expanding career opportunities to marginalized groups. So in addition to strengthening the education systems and expanding access to education and the quality of education in some of the most deprived areas, I particularly like that we're asking private sector players to also come on board to ensure that we're actually expanding opportunities to some of these groups, because as we have with affirmative action when it comes to issues around gender inclusion, if we're not intentional about solving some of these issues and providing access to some of these marginalized groups, the problem isn't going to go away on its own. So thank you very much, Gifty, and it's been a pleasure to have you. I'm going to hand over the audience to Deborah, who also works with the Youth Employment and Skills team here at ACET, who will be co-moderating with me today. Deborah, over to you for the panelist session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's learning series. So we are just going to delve straight into the panelist session. Here we have Hafiz Suleimana Abubakari. Hello, Hafiz.
Hello.
Debbie, I'm afraid you're muted. Can you hear me? For some reason, you're
Deborah.
muted. Okay, there we go.
Hello, Hafiz. Hi.
Hello.
So next on our list, we have Widad, who is joining us. Widad is the founder of School for Life, Ghana. Hi, Widad.
Hi, Deborah, but just to give a little bit of correction here, I'm not a founder. I'm actually just the director for the organization. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for correcting that. All right, so thank you and welcome. Next on
Thank
our
you.
list, we have Ernest Shebu from Zimbabwe. Hello, Ernest.
Hello, Deborah. Hello, panelists and the audience. Greetings from Zimbabwe.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next on our list is also Amadou Ezekiel Koroma. Amadou Ezekiel actually is from Sierra Leone, and he's joining us today for the YES-PACT Learning Series. Hello, Amadou, can you hear us?
Yes, hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I bring you many greetings from Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Eric Saforo, who is the YES-PACT Ghana lead. He works with YOTA. Hello, Eric.
Hello. Hi, Deborah. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So straight ahead, we're just going to go with Widad, the director of School for Life Ghana. So Widad, given your experience in promoting equitable education access, I would want to know how can Ghana, TVET system be better structured to support out-of-school children and marginalized youth, ensuring that they gain foundational literacy and also numeracy skills that leads to sustainable employment. Is there any bits that you can share with us concerning your work in School for Life, and also how can your experience in promoting equitable education access sort of be of help to better strengthen the structure of supporting the out-of-school systems that we have in the country?
Thank you, Deborah, and the rest of the team in ACET. Also, thank you and good morning to my co-panelists and also the attendees. School for Life has been in existence for about 30 years now. And largely what brought the organization into being was the work on the out-of-school children problem. So in terms of dealing with that problem, I mean, dealing with the numerous number of out-of-school children, we designed a program. As at then, it was called the Functional School for Life program, School for Life Functional Literacy Program. And that is the program that has evolved into what we have today as the Complementary Basic Education Program. And the program is basically an accelerated learning program targeting children within a certain age bracket, minimum age of 8 years, and initially a maximum age of 14 years. But since the government adopted the model, the policy extended the number of years, I mean the maximum age to 16. But occasionally you can have outliers where you may have, 17 and 18-year children also, participating and in the program. And what the program is essentially is that we target these out-of-school children with the collaboration of the communities where the classes are being cited, and run the program in literacy and numeracy in the mother tongue of the learners for a period of 9 months, during which period they would have acquired the basic literacy and numeracy as well as life skills that equips them and puts them in a position to then now mainstream into formal school. And so in terms of our collaboration with key stakeholders, particularly with the communities, usually we work because we identify facilitators within these communities who are basically volunteers, but then the identification process starts with a process of community engagement, animation, mobilization, and what have you, and continuous sensitization. And during the animation process, the communities will have to indicate their willingness of the program and what kind of support they will provide to ensure the effective running of the program. So in these communities, or the communities will then set up, in order to contribute to the process, they set up what we call the local committee, who then support in identifying the volunteers to support the classes. The volunteers are then trained on a structured pedagogy and methodology that is used to teach the learners in literacy, numeracy, and life skills for that 9-month period. Basically, the essence was to ensure that out-of-school children also have a second chance to education by enrolling in the formal school. But along the line, we noted that in terms of the learning pathways, whereas the original program focused on just transitioning the learners into formal school, we realized that at the point of transitioning, there were some learners who didn't really were willing or were interested in even being mainstream into formal school. They were looking for other alternative pathway. So along the line, the program made room for other transition or learning pathways, where for those who are willing and interested to be mainstream into formal school, they are supported to do so. And for those who wants to learn other vocations and trades, that possibility is also there for them to acquire those life skills. And also related to the CBE program is in terms of our work on the out-of-school youth. So the earlier one is largely for children within a certain, school-going age, more or less. But then it is also noted, especially in Ghana, that there are a significant number of youth who are either not in education, not in employment, and not also not in employment, not in training. So we have also along the line targeted these youth to provide them with the literacy and numeracy as well as life skills support, so that they can also learn. They would have the basic literacy and numeracy foundation to be able to cope in the entrepreneurial world or in the business world. So essentially, to your question about how can the vocational skills training be modeled to support out-of-school youth or out-of-school children, I would say that essentially for those who are out of school, the basic skills that they require to be able to function in their skills area will be numeracy, literacy, and life skills. And I think that vocational skills institutions and service providers could look at how they can adopt the CBE program that actually is model or is designed to equip people or learners who have not had any form of basic literacy and numeracy to provide, to give them that kind of support. So I think that there's the need for vocational institutions and also the government, especially, to look at how we can use the current model, especially that government has already set up an agency responsible for complementary education, alternative learning, and all of those things. Vocational institutions can collaborate with this agency to provide that functional literacy program for the youth.
Thank you so much with that, and thanks for sharing your experience. School for Life, I should share a personal experience. When I was writing my dissertation, it was on how we reintegrate out of school young people into mainstream education, and School of Life was one of the notable ones across Africa, even in your success rate of targeting out of school marginalized young people and helping them to reintegrate into mainstream education. So I should say congratulations to you and School of Life for the wonderful work that you do. And just on cue is Hafiz, who happens to also be an alumni of School of Life, correct, Hafiz?
School for Life.
School for Life, sorry, School for Life, and is here to let us know firsthand the experience of being someone who is from a marginalized community, who has had to go through and is now a lecturer at one of our premier universities here, University of Development Studies in Ghana, and he teaches in various subjects, including small ruminant animal health extension, disease control. He's a vet. He's very passionate about the issues that he lectures on, and his passion is to educate future generations of veterinary professionals. Interestingly, he's the 18th of 22 siblings. So just to give you some context of the background and Hafiz is coming from. So Hafiz, thank you. And can you share your experience first in terms of having to reintegrate, coming from the background where access to quality education has been a challenge, and some of the key barriers you faced in your education journey. But I'd also like to hear what you think initiatives like what Gifty and the TVET service are doing can ensure that they're promoting inclusivity in some of our deprived communities based on your experience.
Thank you very much. It's good I have to speak after the director for School for Life has spoken. She has made my work very simple. So what I will go to is to just tell you the first-hand experience as requested. My name is Hafiz, as you mentioned. But one thing I want to put across is the fact that I teach at university. It's not off. University for Development Studies. It is not University of Development, it's for Development Studies. So thank you very much. I became a learner of School for Life in 1999. Those days, let me describe what started as compulsory. Because I say compulsory because we were in the house one day, then we heard a dundon beater announcing that households that have people who are more than 13 years and they are not in school and they are willing to send them to school should do so the following day. And then they gave a designated house. That process lasted for a week. Nobody was willing to bring a child. Then it became compulsory because the area in which I live is the chief palace. And the chief of my community then was the board chairman for School for Life. So he made it compulsory for every household to nominate a child to participate in the School for Life program. Then they were supposed to have 25 students or 25 learners, of which 15 were supposed to be boys, and then 10 were supposed to be girls. In our house, we were more than those of us who were there. None of us was going to school, and nobody was willing to be part of it. So at long last, I was forced because those who were in the house as at then, I was the youngest. So they thought that if the older ones are saying they will not participate, I have no option. They have to force me to participate in the 9-month program. So I said it was an adventure that started as compulsory, but along the line, it became something I took up myself and wanted to be part of the program. So in our house, I was the one that they selected as a way of contributing to the 25 people they were supposed to start the program with. I accepted it in good faith. We started the program around, first October 1999. That was when we started the program. We became learners officially 1st October 1999. Then from the video you showed at the beginning, the case of Amina is not different from my own case, because then you were supposed to go to farm because the learning started or used to start at 2 o'clock. So in the morning, you were supposed to go to farm because Around that period, it was a raining season. It was farming season. So you're supposed to go to farm. You'll be in the farm up to 1, then you'll be asked to now go back home and go and participate in the School for Life activity. So this was what I was going through. Every day you go to farm, you are expected to do more than the others because around 1 o'clock, you will be expected to go home. So when you go to farm around 8 a.m., you will have to work extra in order to be allowed to go home at 1 o'clock to go and participate in School for Life. So this process started lasted for like 2-3 months. Then we were in the dry season. So, dry season, there's no farmer. So we're just in the house. When it is 2, you will go to the facility. Then you'll be taken through. Like I said, we started as 25 pupils. Before we completed the School for Life 9 months training, we were left with 23. 2 of the female students had dropped out. Before we transitioned to formal education or formal school, we had 2 dropouts already. One had to go to KIA and one had to marry. So we were transitioning into formal school, and because of the age of all the participants, we were put in class 3. Straight from School for Life, we were integrated into class 3. All the 23 people were added to the existing students in the class 3. So that class was overcrowded. We started from class 3. By the time we got to JHS, those of us who joined, we were left with 11. Because people were not, initially, most of the households were not told that after the 9 months training, we'll be transitioned to formal school. So they gave them out, or they brought their wards into the School for Life. And after the transition, they realized that they needed to be helping them in their various farming activities. So along the line, we were having dropout from one class to another. The reduction was just like that until we got to JSS1, we were left with 11. And these 11 of us continued to SS, proceeded to tertiary institutions. And then here we are today, being part of the people who contribute to what? Impacting knowledge to those who want to learn or who want to be educated. So this is short of the experience I want to share, what I went through from the days of School for Life to primary school to JHS and then SS, then to the tertiary institution. And if I heard you right, you mentioned that what were the challenges that I faced. As an individual, I want to say that the major challenge I faced was funding, because where we were coming from, though I was under a cousin who understood to some extent the need to be educated, but he was constrained in terms of finances. He wanted me to be educated, but he was not having the money. So the only thing I enjoyed from him when we transitioned was the opportunity, the time to go to school. He told me that, Hafiz, you can go to school if you so wish, but my concern is I don't have the money to support you. So I will not burden you with going to farm again. You go to farm on the days that you want. What I want you to do is to concentrate on your education. And I told him something that I would want to go to school even if you don't have money. But the promise I'm giving you is that I would not want to be a dropout because I was not performing. If I become a dropout because I have no money to pursue my education, that will be fine. Anybody who sees my grades should be able to tell that I didn't stop schooling because of ABCD, but because of money. That was the reason why I stopped schooling. So when I told him that, he gave me all the time I needed. Every day. There were even days I would want to do school, follow him to farm, and he would tell me that I should go to school. So in that aspect, the major challenge I faced was funding. And then because I said it was not something I wanted to do, I took it upon myself to look for various ways to sustain myself in school. Though we're not paying at the basic level, but you needed to buy yourself books, shoes, uniform, and then even money to cater for yourself whilst in school. So I became a shoemaker. If you have any shoe that you think you want to polish, I can do that. It is a skill that I developed to assist me when I was in school. So those days, I will go to school from Monday to Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, I will go to the nearby villages to do this shoemaker work, gather some money for myself. The money that will take care of me from the next Monday to Friday. So weeks that I don't do this, it means the following week, I'll not be able to. I'll have to endure being hungry in school. I know learning and being hungry cannot go together. So along the line, when we got to GHS, those things were becoming difficult for me. So I had to go to the market. On market days, we have people coming from Tamale and other places to sell. So I had to identify a full seller, somebody who will bring foods to the market to sell. So on Kumbungu market day, I will have to go to the market, assist the person in selling. At the end of the day, the person gives you money. So I will have to depend on that money for the whole of the week. So this was some of the ways I adapted to go through the issue of not having money to support myself or to get things that I needed. Another thing I did was, because of self-determination, because I convinced myself that if I must be educated, it must be done through me. So I had all attention to what I was learning, self-discipline. I was very humble. So most of the teachers who were teaching us, and they were from Tamale, those who were teaching me personally got to like the way I was determined to become a student at that age. So there were some of them who could give you money, they would dash you money and those things. So along the line, the issue of having problem with how to fund myself became something that I could navigate through. And God being, I can't say without mentioning that after BEC, what the next thing was how I could fund my secondary education. Though secondary education was free in Northern region as at then, but the issue of other expenditures was a problem. Because I remember when we were reporting, we were made to pay a fee of 100, currently 113 cedi. That money was not easy for me, but God being so good, in our year, I was adjudged the best BEC graduate from Northern region, and then I was given presidential award. So this took care of my secondary education. When I got to SS, I was no more paying school fees because government of Ghana then, President Kufuor was the president then. I was awarded the Presidential Day Award, and that one took care of what? My educational need at the secondary level. So I was there, and then I told my brother, this is one of the reasons
Speed us up because of
I was telling you.
Hafiz, apologies to interrupt, just keeping an eye on time. If you could share one advice for Ms. Gifty and also any of our policymakers listening to your experience right now, what would it be in terms of promoting inclusivity in your school? So as your closing remarks, if you can give one advice in terms of at the policy level, what can be done to reduce the burdens of young people like yourself?
Thank you very much for this question. Like a teacher, I always find it difficult when I'm given time to talk because I would like to talk and talk and talk. There's a lot to talk about, but like you said, we manage time. One thing I want to say, or let me say two. First, there's a program called GEOP, Ghana Education Outcome Project. They have a partnership that supports out of school children. And they are in phase one, I think. I understand the phase one is going out. So one thing I would suggest is government of Ghana through Ministry of Education should partner with World Bank because World Bank is on standby for that particular program. So GEOP or Ghana Education Outcomes Project should be something the Minister for Education should take seriously. They should do that, implement the phase two of it so that it will do the work it is doing currently to enhance the participation of out-of-school children. I also want to say that other complementary education agencies should do well to, or should be strengthened. Policies should be put around complementary education agencies so that all the SOEs, all the civil society organizations that are into ensuring that education or marginalized people get access to education, they should be able to do that. So one, GEOP, and two, complementary education agencies in partnership with School for Life should make sure that what they are doing is what? Made to be the norm. It shouldn't be in the sense that there will be a fallout because government has no commitment to ensuring that the programs continues, or School for Life should not fall out because there's no partnership or funding to do the work they are doing. So two policy areas, jobs should be given the phase 2, and then CEAs should be given the needed resources they want to do, or they require to in order to do what they have been doing.
Thank you very much, Hafiz. I think one of the key lessons that I have learned from your personal story is determination, because even though there were some constraints in the way, I believe that your determination to learn and succeed in your academic work kept pushing you to have or get access to some of these opportunities and fundings that you're able to receive to complete your academic work. So thank you very much for sharing your story. It's quite passionate because these are the stories of young people who are within these marginalized communities and do not have access to some of the opportunities that we have. So thank you very much. Next up, we would be having our surveys rolling on the screen. Just take a minute or two to share with us your feedback while we move on to Ernest from Zimbabwe. So just take a minute or two, and then I would continue by introducing Ernest. So Ernest is a seasoned educationist with over 30 years of experience specializing in technical and vocational education. Currently, he serves as the Principal Materials Production Officer at the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education Head Office in Zimbabwe with a technical and vocational education session. Ernest is an expert in curriculum development and the production of teaching and learning materials. His initiatives include championing technical high schools with design and technology as a core learning area, integrating artificial intelligence into TVET, and introducing aviation studies into the HESCO course in secondary school. So a very big welcome to you, Ernest. We'll just take a minute more to complete the survey. And then while at it, Ernest would want to understand, right? Well, we also have, despite efforts to make TVET more inclusive, many marginalized students face challenges in completing their education due to financial constraints, societal biases, or lack of support systems. What policies or initiatives have been effective in Zimbabwe to ensure that students from disadvantaged backgrounds not enroll in TVET program, but also successfully complete them? I believe we heard Hafiz's story where he mentioned that even though they started a program successfully with a group of people, with time, they had one or two persons or young women or young ladies at the time who ended up, dropping out of school due to one reason or the other. I believe the one who went into KIA was probably because of financial constraints, and possibly the one who got married could also be affiliated to other reasons that we are all aware about. So would you want to share with us quickly some policies or initiatives that have been more effective in Zimbabwe to ensure that students from disadvantaged backgrounds not only enroll in TVET program, but also are successful at completing them?
Thank you so much. Zimbabwe has taken so many initiatives of note. We have what we call the Basic Education Assistance module. This provides financial assistance to disadvantaged children to access basic education, including TVET, anyone behind. So who is school going age has access to education, number one. Then number two, we like no child to drop, especially girls, to drop from school because they lack. We have the Zimbabwe Early Warning System. This system is based on preventing girls from dropping out of school before completing their education. So here, intervention methods will be implemented as we see the red flags of somebody who has the potential of dropping out. We have, for the ones who were affected by disaster, in 2021, we had a program to support children with survivors of Cyclone Idai. We had a program called Education Can't Wait. This was a program of providing emergency education support to students affected by cyclone to ensure continuity in education, especially the TVET programs. And for those refugees in Zimbabwe, we have a collaboration with the UNHCR, where the government provides education services to refugees at a refugee camp called Tongogara in Chipinge. So the ministry has implemented so much. One, we have fee exemption and subsidies. This government program provides fee exemptions to subsidize disadvantaged students to enable them to access TVET programs. We have schools. These are where we have various organizations, including the government, who offer scholarships to support students from low-income backgrounds. The other one is inclusive infrastructure development, where you have TVET institutions who upgrade accommodation for students, especially those with disabilities, to ensure equal access to education. We then have mentorship and counseling, where we have institutions that provide mentoring and counseling services to support students' emotional and psychological well-being. We then have partnership with industry, where we have collaborations with industry partners who help provide students with practical experience, job shadowing, apprenticeship, and job opportunities. So, in short, this is what we have. We also have an organization called Girls in STEM Education. This organization gives career guidance, gives mentorship, gives funding for girls to continue in the male-dominated fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, prepared for careers in STEM education. And then we also conduct sensitization and awareness programs. These are awareness campaigns to challenge stereotypes and promote the participation of girls in male-dominated TVET fields. In short, maybe I would like to also talk about mentorship. We see that this is a crucial program which plays a crucial role in breaking gender barriers. For example, role models, where mentors serve as role models, demonstrating that offer career guidance and support, where we have mentors and some who have passed through such careers. And also it helps to build confidence, self-esteem, and enabling girls and women to pursue careers in male-dominated fields. I rest my case.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you very much for your contribution. So quickly, I'm going to go on to Amadou Ezekiel. Amadou Ezekiel is joining us from Sierra Leone. Actually, Amadou is a dedicated and organized professional with a diverse program in teaching, program management, and news reporting. And he's also the founder of Youth Advocacy and Development Organization in Sierra Leone, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering young people, advocating for social justice, and creating opportunities for marginalized group. Amadou is also a devoted father, by the way, and committed to both family life and community development. Welcome once again, Amadou. So Amadou, we understand that, you know, you're more within the space of the digital space one way or the other. Is there any way you can share with us how digital platforms and social media can also, you know, utilize, can better be utilized to promote TVET programs, career guidance, and also awareness among young people, particularly from experiences in Sierra Leone and also to Ghana?
Thank you so much. So glad to be part of this meeting. First of all, I just want to give a background to our organization. Of course, I'm one of the founder. It's a youth-led NGO advocacy organization that provides support and improve the living standard of vulnerable and disadvantaged youth, including victims of teenage pregnancy. We are just we are a young organization established in 2022. So over the years, we through our little contributions, we are able to at least impact society. Like if you look at Sierra Leone, like many other developing countries, they face significant challenges in providing opportunities for marginalized groups, like the youth, the women, the persons with disabilities, and rural communities. And so, like I said, we, from our littles, we are able to contribute to society as an organization, a non-profit organization. We are able to provide free classes for primary 6, JSS 3, and SSS 3, that candidates who are taking the external exams. So we are able to provide free classes for them. We use this 2 modes of meeting. One of them, we meet face-to-face, and 2, we use the social media like the WhatsApp. Presently we have 6 functional WhatsApp groups we've created for just to see how we can be able to minimize the transposition costs. And so we introduced the WhatsApp groups. Here we have different volunteers who come on Saturday, especially during the weekends, and provide teaching various topics that these students cannot afford. And we basically target those PPs who cannot afford to pay for extra classes. So we go to these communities and identify these students, and we include them into our programs. So at the end of the day, we created these platforms and we begin to teach them. And then presently, our present government introduced the free quality education. It's a 6 years program now, but we have conducted, we are working on a project we call the Rural Education Renewal Initiative project. And it's mainly focused on providing access to quality education. Even though the government has provided this free quality education, as they put it, but when we do our assessment to 7 vulnerable communities, we find out that all what is the government promise for these kids to enjoy, or what is in the package, giving them exercise books, giving them textbooks, a lot of things, uniform, bags, all they put this in the packet that this is what the students should have. So when we conduct our assessments, we find out that all of these things the kids are not enjoying. Even though they are given access to attend free classes, free school, but when you talk about the quality, it's something questionable. So what we did as an organization, we conducted this assessment to see that we can able to come inside and also help. So as a social media practitioner, so we help to create these platforms. In fact, students in the remote places, like we have 4 villages which are non-reachable. The vehicles cannot enter to this village. So what we did, we ensure that these students, we bring them to bigger towns. So we try to bring them together and organize these classes for them. And of course, students living in these remote villages, they cannot have access to mobile phones. So for them, we provided a face-to-face class for them to ensure that they also get the quality education they're supposed to have. And so what we did, of course, electricity is a problem in our country. So we ensure that we partner with business people who provided solar. And so we are able to get the solar and help some of these students. So when there's night, they use the solar for them to study. So we have also initiated and women in agri businesses. You find out that this is another thing. How can I put it? It's another problem in our country. The economic. You find out that not many people, about 26, let me just check for the statistics. About 60% of young people in Sierra Leone who are unemployed. So what we did, we also designed women in agriculture. We use this social media platform also to reach them, because some of them are coming from far, but they have this mobile phone. So WhatsApp is more reasonable, it's cheaper, and it's easy to manage. So we make use of the WhatsApp groups often, and to see that we can able to, every one of them can be able to learn from our teachings in terms of agri-businesses.
Thank you, Amadu. Thank you for sharing with us some of the digital platforms that you use in promoting inclusivity and also spreading the word among people. So this was actually coming from the experience that Hafiz actually shared on the fact that if not, had it been that maybe a gongon beater was used in spreading the word within his community about the School for Life initiative, then it means that they wouldn't have heard. So at the time, other traditional ways of communicating some of these opportunities were being used at the time. Quickly, I'm just going to give Widad just a minute. Widad, should you be given an opportunity to advocate for one key policy or initiative that the government should, implement to support young people from disadvantaged backgrounds, with your extensive experience working, with School for Life, what would it be and why? In just a minute.
Okay, so I have a particular bias towards education, and since vocational skills training initiatives have been highlighted, I think I will not belabor the point in respect of the importance of prioritizing vocational education. But what I would like to suggest will be the need to come up with a strategy, a comprehensive strategy or policy to target the group of youth that I earlier mentioned, the NEET group of the youth, that is, they're not in education, not in employment, and not in training group. And to successfully target them, we need, or to successfully launch a program that would be beneficial to them, that program should be target driven, in that we are actually targeting those who are in dire need for such support. And in order to also equip them effectively to do, into the world of work, it is important, as I earlier highlighted, the need for foundational literacy. We need to equip them with the basic literacy and life skills to be able to function in any endeavor they find themselves. So basically, this is what I can share by way of priority that stakeholders should consider. One, target those not in employment, not in education, and not in training, by doing so in a targeted manner, but also integrating life skills and foundational literacy into the program.
All right, thank you so much, Widad. So I'll just pass it over to Ernest. Ernest, in just a minute, 30 seconds. What is that one thing that you would advocate for, in terms of key policy or initiative that the government should implement to support young people from disadvantaged background? If Ernest is not in yet, Amadou, would you want to take over in just a minute, 30 seconds? What is that one thing that you'd advocate? Oh, we have Ernest here. Hi, Ernest.
Hello.
Yes, in just a minute, can you share with us that one, key policy or maybe initiative that the government should implement to support young people from disadvantaged background?
Yes, that the government supports those who cannot have fees, who cannot afford fees, that the government then puts in funds, a fund to assist those children from marginalized places, and also that the government should accommodate diverse learning styles, so that any child from any marginalized background would have an opportunity to do that. And then want the government to establish partnerships with industry partners and other stakeholders, so that we provide skills opportunities for decent work. And then the strengthening of support services for marginalized groups.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you, Amadou. In just 30 seconds, can you share with us your recommendation or that one policy or initiative that the government should implement to support young people from marginalized groups?
Yes, thank you so much. For me, the government should kind of develop a rural infrastructure and a digital access, wherein it invests in rural electrification and digital literacy programs, and support agribusinesses development to create sustainable local jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Amadou. Thank you, everyone. A special thank you to all our panelists from Widad, Amadou, Ernest, Hafiz. We really enjoyed your experience. So I'm going to pass on to Mona at this point to take over.
Thank you, Deborah. And thanks, everyone. Okay, I see Gifty's hand up. Gifty, is this, would you like to ask a question or do you have some remarks before? I also see a hand up in the audience, Adomon. Is it a question you'd like to ask? If so, I will bring you on quickly in 30 seconds, right after I bring on Gifty. Gifty, can you hear me?
So for me, ask about opinions.
Gifty, you're a bit faint. Can you speak up a bit?
Opinions, our panelists, what they want to the government to do. I think when I was giving my presentation, I left out some few lines that I want to also bring it on board. Like we know we have women and persons with diverse needs, they have unique challenges in assessing career. And so we have to help them to deal with the self-doubt, that is assertive training, encourage growth mindset and resilience in facing career challenges, and then innovative thinking. So I remember I was talking about things that we can put in place to help them, the recommendations. And so I think for us, we already have TVET linking with industries. But I think in our district assemblies, the district assemblies, we should have these linkages in our district assemblies. And then we organize expo for marginalized people. We can also do needs assessments. That is very important. We have to perform needs assessment to know their needs. We cannot just sit here and imagine that these are their needs, because the career development covers and answers everything. Because even if you give them the complementary education, you give them this and that, and you don't give them the career direction, they will end up finding themselves in the wrong job. So I wanted to even ask the gentleman who spoke about the open school, the one who attended the World, is it the helping school or something? School for Life. That is it the teaching job that he really wanted to do, or because it was the only option? So that was the question I want to put to him. So that if you are able to do this thing and establish district career advisory centers, you go to the European and then the foreign countries, they have it. So as an African continent, we should also copy that one and then adopt it, so that in every district we have career advisory centers, so that our youth can go there for advice, career advice. Then they will know exactly what they want to do. Then the government can now support them to do what they want to do. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gifty, for those remarks. And I agree. From what I'm hearing is that we need to tackle the issues across board, right from the school at the primary level. We also have to have a holistic community approach, but also in helping to transition, providing career guidance so that young people are able to make choices, the right choices for themselves, and decentralizing these systems so that they're reaching even at the district level and at the community level. So thank you very much to everyone. Adomon, from the audience, is it a question or can I move into our closing remarks? Okay, I'm not hearing from the person. Okay, so we'll move on to, okay, Adomon, can you hear me? If you have a question, you can unmute your mic. I will allow 5 minutes total for Q&A. I have two persons, Doris Kesse. Hi, Doris. Thanks for joining us. Doris, in 30 seconds. Okay, wait. Doris, before I bring you on, I think Adomon has unmuted now.
Est-ce que ça va?
Adomon.
Oui.
Okay, great. If you can hear me, please proceed with your question. If you can, in 30 seconds, please.
Oui, la question est relative à l'adéquation entre formation et emploi. Parce que moi, je suis un enseignant à l'université et souvent, nous avons des travaux de mémoire dans nos étudiants. Et là, ça pose un problème après leur formation. Comment s'intégrer, comment intégrer le marché de l'emploi? Alors, c'est justement ce qui m'a amené à suivre ce panel, parce que je voulais m'enrichir de connaissances pour pouvoir orienter nos étudiants. Alors, de façon brève, si un étudiant finit, quelle thématique il faut lui donner pour qu'il puisse facilement s'intégrer au marché de l'emploi, dans nos régions, bien sûr.
Okay, thank you, Adamons.
Oui.
Okay, so before I throw your question to the panelists, Doris, I'll take yours as well.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm on this abbreviation NEET. When we talk of the youth, those who don't want education, those who are not into training or any employment. And then we know that one of the major issues is funding too. So my question is, what about the youth or these learners who are in our school? I have a TVET school. I'm working with CTVET. They have been given, even to the extent of giving them transport. But still, you can see that some of them are not even interested, in learning. So when it comes to that, what do we have to do? Or what do I have to do? Because I have some of the learners here, they will come to school today, the next day they won't come. You ask them why, they don't have any reason, but they've been given all the opportunities. So when that thing happens, and I know Auntie Gifty was saying that, yes, a lot of centers should be open in these various TVET schools where counseling can be done, because some of them too, they don't even know what they want. So that's my question and my worry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doris. So Adamons was around transitioning to work. For our panelists, it was around how to, because sometimes even after training or after education, the challenge really is in finding employment or dignified employment post that, and what is it that can be done, or can anyone share experience on how to make that transition easier? Maybe I will have maybe Ernest, if you can share your thoughts on that in terms of how we can enhance the transitioning into work and expanding employment opportunities for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. The next for Doris' concern is around sometimes the low motivation among students, even when the opportunity exists. Hafiz, would you like to contribute to that? So I'll have Ernest come in first, and then Hafiz, if you can share your thoughts on Doris in terms of what can be done in situations where there is funding available to help some of these young people, but the motivation just isn't there to enroll in some of these courses. All right, Ernest.
You find that in Zimbabwe, we had some learners who had just dropped from school. We then followed them up. So here you then do some mentorship. What we did was to build trust and relationship with them, establish some connections. You find that those children who had dropped from school came back, and then we put them under these programs. We then invited some speakers who would motivate them and bring up some positive role models, and then foster some growth mindset, encourage some self-esteem, set goals with them, talk to them and find out what they need. And then from there, then you establish some way forward, celebrate their progress, and provide resources. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ernest. Hafiz, if you quickly, yes.
Thank you for the question. This is what I've been battling with when it comes to School for Life. What I always tell them is to use the product, the alumni. For instance, if you want to have facilitators, district coordinators for your programs, and then those who are learners see that those who are coming to teach them have been in their shoes before, they will serve as an example to them to be encouraged to go to school. If they don't have examples to look up to, if they don't have people they will look at and say that, after all, after this program, I can also be like so and so. So good role modeling, and then giving the alumni the opportunity to also train or serve as facilitators at various districts or various community level will encourage the new learners to want to come to school. There should be that will to quote or to get most of our people to be examples, role models to the current learners. I'm sure if this is done, they will see the need to be able to want to come to school. And also parenting, there should be groups that will encourage the parents to see the need for their wards to be sent to school. So that if they go home, the parents can ask them, why is it that there's school and you are home? So if we tell the parents the need for their wards to be school, I'm sure they will also be part of the stakeholders, which they are. So they should be encouraged to advise their kids to be in school and not to encourage them not to go to school.
Okay, thank you, Hafiz, and thank you, Ernest. Hafiz, there was a quick question for you. I will ask on behalf of Gifty. Did you choose to be a lecturer, or was that your options were limited? Was this your first choice?
From the introduction, you could see that I was a municipal veterinary officer for Techman Municipal before. To join academia was something that I saw as giving back to the community.
Okay.
In my days, let me just use 1 minute to clarify this. When I was a municipal officer, it got to a time UDES Department of Veterinary Nursing needed reaccreditation. And one of the criteria was to have professionals in that department. If not, GTEC will not approve it. So they had advertised that they needed people with professional background to come and join the department so that GTEC will be able to approve the program again. Which, when I saw the advert, I felt like if I'm coming from that territory or that region, and this is the need I have, the skill I have, why not resign from Veterinary Services Directorate and go and join the university so that I'll be a reason why the school will continue to run. So this was one of the reasons why I joined teaching. It isn't that I was not given option.
So passion meets opportunity. Thank you, Hafiz. Perfect timing to wrap this up. But before we do, we'll bring in Eric Safuro, who is our point person for the YES-PACT in Ghana, who works for YOTA. Eric, you've been a bedrock for the work that we do, and thanks to you also for supporting us to bring this event to life. So Eric, I'll hand over to you to give closer remarks in a few minutes, and then we wrap up today's event.
Thank you very much, Mona. I hope you can hear me because where I am, my internet is a bit grumpy. But I want to say thank you to everyone that has been on this call for this learning series. And I want to express deep appreciation to all our speakers and everyone that has participated in the Q&A. So from the video session to Mona to Auntie Gifty and everyone that spoke has been a very good one. For me, one key takeaway is the urgent need to strengthen the TVET pathways for the not in employment, not in education, and not in training youth. We choose to call them opportunity youth by providing them the necessary skill and opportunities to transition from productive livelihoods
Oh no, I think the internet he spoke about has failed him. Eric, if you can hear us.
And so making available.
Okay, great, you're back.
Oh, sorry, my internet was back. Okay, so quickly moving forward, I believe that we are going to it's a clarion call for all of us to scale up TVET programs, integrating digital literacy and creating stronger industrial linkages to equip young people into the world of work as well. And so thank you once again, everyone, for your participation and commitment. And I believe that you will join our next learning series, which is in a quarter's time. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Great, thank you, Eric. And from myself and Deborah, any last words? Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and we will look forward to seeing you for the next edition. We have one each quarter, so we look forward to seeing you for the next edition of the PACT Learning Series. Debbie.
Thank you, Mona. It's been a wonderful session. I did enjoy it really much. I think one of my greatest highlights would be the personal experience sharing of today's event. So thank you, everyone. Would send, our sincerest appreciation to particularly our panelists and our speakers. And then we look forward to having you in our next YES-PACT Learning Series in Q2. Have a lovely day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Welcome to the PACT portal, your gateway to accelerating economic transformation across Africa. To log in, simply check your email for the login link, choose a password and enter your credentials to access the PACT portal. Here, members gain access to a wealth of resources, including progress reports, toolkits, forums, and more. Dive into our collaborative platform to connect with like-minded individuals, share knowledge, and drive impactful change. Together, we can transform policies into action and propel Africa towards sustainable development and prosperity. Contribute your insights, expertise, and innovative ideas to YES-PACT's collective knowledge base by submitting an article. Share valuable external articles or research relevant to YES-PACT's mission by submitting external insights here. These can be external resources you believe will be beneficial to the community and PACT chapter members. Discover the dynamic forums on the portal. Engage in insightful discussions on YES-PACT initiatives, policies, and strategies in our dynamic forums. Remember to engage with responses by replying to comments and encouraging further discussion. This way, we can all collaborate effectively and drive impactful change together. Explore detailed reports tracking the advancement of economic transformation efforts alongside practical toolkits. Stay up to date with chapter members, view photos and videos of past events and engagements to see YES-PACT in action. Explore more. Explore our website and discover all the features designed for you. For any assistance, feel free to click the Contact Us at the bottom of the screen.